I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just seek a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Bo,
A second.
second by Amanda. All in favor? 7-0, maybe. Now we just need a motion for the consent agenda. Just remember, if you need to abstain, abstain. If there's something you want to talk about, now's the time to pull it out. Or if anybody needs any clarification on anything.
On the sub list, who are we approved? Just that Doug Narrows?
Yeah.
What did you say, Kelly?
I just asked who we were approving on the sub list.
Oh, I've been after that.
Doug Narrows, I know I'm spelling it wrong, so I apologize.
No, it's okay. I was just making sure we do it right too.
That's all.
I need to abstain from voting for Deborah Toe.
I also,
That's already been on.
She's already
The
prior
only one that
approved,
you're
yeah.
voting
Just
on
the pink
is
one.
approved
Oh, just the
for-
pink one,
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
My apologies.
There's a
that was the intention either.
whatever color that is.
I just seen it.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
We got a motion by Bo to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Derek. All in favor?
I need to abstain from 49876, check number
What number was that?
49876.
Okay.
Isn't that a song?
Close.
All in favor, I'm sorry. 7-0, Amy.
Got it.
So moving on, program evaluation here.
All right, just a quick note too, guys, there on that consent agenda, there are a lot of new policies there, nothing crazy. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it, reading through those, but just those will be up for approval next meeting. Just make sure you kind of read through those and send me any questions you have. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, if you have any questions about it. So there used to be a time, didn't we just read all those out loud? Have to do that, but they're there for you guys. Okay, strategic planning, back to our CSIP, our comprehensive school improvement plan. We're looking at goal 4, looking at community partnerships. I want to give you an update on this, nothing too long. And there, our district goal is to partner with community organizations, businesses, faith-based organizations, trying to build greater support and resources and post-graduation opportunities for children in our community. And our goal is to have a pool of 100 active community volunteers, mentors, tutors for kids, and 10 committed business partnerships. So been talking to some of the, we had a business come in with Janae Fisher's class at Martin Metal, and I reached out to them, and they are interested in partnering with us and having some kind of a pre-apprenticeship or some kind of job opportunity, and having that be part of what they do to help our kids have a good destination, a good future. I've also talked to Titus Martin. I say Martin. You ready for this? So Martin Automotive, and he is also interested in having some kind of an automotive. In other words, they've agreed to interview our kids instead of them just looking for any job, having some pre-apprenticeship and possibly full-blown apprenticeships where kids can segue into a profession. So, and having local people picking up our good kids and letting them, because we have a lot of desire for kids to go to work. Last time I checked with Mr. Culpepper, we won't call you coach anymore that much. When you're in here, you're principal. Mr. Culpepper, we have 19 kids in the Flex program right now. And that's about half of our senior class. Is that right, Bridget? About half?
There's 35 kids in the senior class.
Yeah, so about 19 of them, over half, are looking to go straight to work. So we want to give them good places to land and good opportunities to learn and grow, because I know a lot of kids think that, I mean, we all know this, but no matter where you go to after high school, you're going to go to school, right? Even if I used to tell kids, even if it's a school of Mickey D's, you're going to school. So you're going to learn how fries up, fries down, or whatever you're learning, you're going to go and continue to learn. So really appreciate those companies, and Martin Energy already on board, and we're looking for more. On October 28th, we're going to have Dr. CJ Huff back. He'll be here from 10 to noon, and we'll have a lunch following. We've invited some business leaders. Some letters went out last week. Invited some business leaders along with some of our school people to come in and kind of start that blending going on and kind of start that network. Think of Bright Futures as a network. There are really kind of three basic things that Bright Futures tries to do by taking the community time, talent, and our resources all together and saying, we're going to meet all kids' basic needs within 24 hours. That's kind of a thing. And how do you communicate that? How do you find out where those needs can be met? We're looking for a way to mentor them and encourage them. There's a lot of ways to do that, and CJ Huff has a lot of different community examples for us to talk about how we can accomplish that. And then looking at their destination, their future. Where do we take their talent and plug it into our community so they don't live in the four winds? We actually build up our own community. So that's apprenticeships, that's partnerships with these businesses where there's places for them to go, where they don't leave high school and they say, is there anywhere else to go besides mom and dad's couch? So we want them to have a direction when they leave here. So that's part of our CSEP, and I just wanted to give you a quick update on that. I feel like it's going the right direction. It may take us all longer, not me, all the people who are involved a little longer, and a number of networking opportunities just to kind of keep building that. At some point, I see some part of our wall in here, we start to talk about our community Bright Futures partners. We start talking about how we're taking any kid who walks into our school system and giving them their future, what they're wanting to go do with their life, so they have a place and a destination to go. So, a lot of good kids in our district and a lot of good guidance we can give them along with our business partnerships. Okay, that's all I have on that one.
Have you got any, I know you sent out a message that you wanted at least one board member there. Have you got any?
No one's responded to me yet.
I plan to go.
Nancy's gonna come.
Good.
You can come too if you want.
Well, I may be working.
Okay. Well, tell Derek stop working so hard.
Well, I got a new boss.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I like the direction that's going, and I appreciate that. We'll have some teachers coming over for that meeting and just kind of moving it forward. Questions? Okay. Reports, I'm up next again. The budget message, it's probably about 16 pages long. Hopefully you ate popcorn while you read that one. I tried to give you the broader perspective for what's happening in the state, federal level, or local level. Interesting statistic I had today when I was up at Mayor. Let me see if I can find this because I took a picture of this slide and I want to make sure I get it right. Do a quiz question for the board. You ready? All right. State of Missouri. State of Missouri. Where do we rank with the percentage of state funding provided to schools compared to the nation? Where are we?
48.
I mean, like 1 to 50, where are we?
50.
48 is my guess.
You think we're 48? You think 50? Last? What do you think, Kelly?
Probably in the bottom.
Bottom?
Bottom 10, yeah.
David, what do you think?
42.
42?
I'm being optimistic.
47. 47?
36.
36?
45.
45? Is a little surprising to me. We are last. We're last. 50th out of 50. State funding, this is what the state government provides to public schools in the state of Missouri. We are 50th out of 50. Now I'm gonna give you one more. Where do we rank in local, the percentage of local money provided to public schools in the United States? Kelly, what do you think?
30.
32.
I'm gonna go low on this one, 45.
Yeah, I was gonna go high. I'll say 25.
Last. Pass.
Pass. It's okay, you're wrong.
40.
I didn't know. This is gonna probably surprise you. So we rank last with state funding. Local funding, we are 7th in the nation on the percentage of local funding. The burden has been shifted to taxpayers to pay more for our public schools by percentage now compared to the rest of the United States. We're number 7. So the local taxpayer is asked to bear that burden, bear that burden, bear that burden, and be number 7. But the state government, 50 out of 50. It's an interesting statistic to really think about when we go out and we start asking for support for public schools, isn't it? I just thought I'd throw that in there real quick, because I just learned it today. So as far as the budget goes, you see some budget amendments. There are some projects there, some things that I believe we probably need to get done. They are built or baked into your budget. Bob is going to talk just briefly about one particular item that's come to our attention, and we've kind of noticed it. I've noticed it over the years. Bob has picked up on it, and I asked him to kind of hound dog it for us. That's a technical term, isn't it, Bob? To hound dog something, we know what that means. And so he's going to share with you a little bit about what's going on over in the football, or the weight room in that area. Football field house. Go ahead.
All the AC units over there are very old. The brand, they're Linux Pulse. They're known for lots of problems. And as of a few years back, the parts are obsolete for them and very hard to find. We have one of the units now that the compressor is locked up on, so the AC is actually not working on it. And stuff like that. I call people to come look at it, and they're pretty amazed that they're actually working at all and stuff. And they've said it'll probably cost more to fix the compressor on the one than it would to replace it with a different unit.
1995 is the manufacturer date on those. I do have that built into the budget. We don't know what those bids are coming in, but we'll probably be pursuing those and hopefully have that as some kind of a summer project. But it's needed. It's needed when you talk about just the humidity in there and the mold that can develop. You need some climate control in there.
They can't be that old, are they?
1995, the building was built in 81.
Yeah, but we didn't have air conditioning.
I don't think air was
05.
added till later. I think there's been a furnace system, but
We didn't have air in the locker room in 05. I don't think we even had
Maybe it
heat.
didn't.
I'm not 100% sure we had heat when we played football.
You guys were tougher then.
I'd say nothing about
they
that.
turned the heat up when y'all wrestled out there. Y'all had a sweat room in there, in that back room.
Yes, I quit and Ellis, Ellis got into it. No, that was Daniel. But I don't think there was air in 05. I'm just saying, so I didn't think it was quite that old, but still, almost 20 years old.
At any rate, that's, Bob, anything else to add?
No.
Just wanted to point that out to you. There is a pretty good list there. We also ran into backflow. Bob, could you share a little bit about that whole backflow issue we had revealed to us when we got tested?
We have 8 meters and we have 3 backflow valves, which is one issue. We actually have some meters that are probably not used. The state's kind of, and the city are kind of iffy on telling us which ones have to have them, which ones don't. They kind of lean towards it. All meters should have a backflow on them. The one in the high school, there in the old boiler room was actually bad and defective, and we had to replace it. Which probably run us close to $3,000 just for the backflow valve. We actually need one, definitely need one for the football field irrigation. It doesn't have any.
So that may have been just something overlooked in a prior project, because that just seems like that would be pretty standard.
Correct.
Does the backflow valve go on our side or the city side?
Our side.
So it's our responsibility.
Yeah, it's to keep, like the fertilizer and all the chemicals and stuff that are put on the football field, or anything that you do with your water system. Those backflow valves keep it from leaching back into the city water system and then contaminating the system.
Bob, there's another thing in here as well, not for Bob, but just grant opportunities. I was visiting with our vocational instructors, and there is some opportunities possibly to get up to 50-50 grants, where we can get computers, we can get, Mr. Twinner is looking at some upgrades to our almost 30-year-old welding machines, to get those all upgraded, and actually starting to look into if we can't work toward having kids get some certifications out of welding, which I think is a great step. Floriculture also getting some upgrades there. I thought I had a sheet there linked in there, and I think it is. I'm trying to figure out where I put that. But that could be somewhere between $26,000 and $40,000 for us to get almost $100,000 worth of equipment and things for our ag. They're due, and they are all providing some information regarding that, and I appreciate that they're going to pursue those grants to see if we can't make our facilities even better for kids. So, other than that, the overall picture, we are fighting some political wind that basically wants to take schooling in not in the United States, it's in the state of Missouri, and basically privatize it. This has kind of been a move that's going on in several states, and there is some money being set aside in the form of tax credits for individuals, and you have that in that report, that basically set aside that money and say, now we're going to hand out scholarships through an educational assistance organization somewhere in the state to some private school or some kid that wants to go there, and we're going to start redistributing public dollars for private use, is what's happening. If you read that report, you can see all the schools listed in every educational assistance organization in there that's doing that. $75 million, and then it will go up with consumer price index. They'll figure that out every year, and it's definitely a direct competition with public schools and all the things that are built for kids. So, you look at that data that I just gave you a minute ago with the state of Missouri being 50th out of 50 with state support, and then they're pouring support toward the private endeavors. It kind of gives you an idea of, well, what's on the horizon. I just came from a meeting today, and I've heard it more than once at other meetings, talking about, well, will consolidation be on the horizon just so public schools can survive? And the answer in probably the next 5 to 10 years would be yes, and maybe sooner rather than 5 years away, because it's going to pressure public schools and the amount of money they're going to need to keep up with the new mandates, mainly with salary requirements. There's a lot of pressures getting put on schools and things we're being asked to do. So the mandates aren't stopping. We continue to be held more and more accountable and have more and more things we have to pay for, and they're not always fully funded or funded at all. They're just saying, we're just going to do this. So just want to make you aware of that. And I spent a lot of time on that budget message so that you guys could get a clearer picture of what's going on. But if you have any questions, you can ask me, but it's not a great forecast. I think they did an ask from Bessie. I want to say it was close to $1 billion that they asked for the 25-26 school year to try to help schools meet that new salary mandate, and it remains to be seen with the state income coming into the state. It's kind of down, sales tax is kind of down, so they're not knowing where things are going to go, so we'll see. There's really only a few things you can do, and here we talk about the local taxpayer again, and you go back to them, and there have been districts that have done this. You've had Eugene, you've had Cole Camp, you have a number of districts looking for a levy increase, and here we go again, asking for the local people to pick it up and support their schools if they want to keep them in the state that they're in. And the school is left to say, we're sorry, we have to ask again, but the state isn't following through. And then the local people say, well, we can't afford it either, or we got a property tax freeze now going on in Cooper County. So they think they'll have about 1,500 people that will apply for that. Montauk County is considering it, and that's fine. I think when you get to be the older folks, and this is just Dr. Rob talking, it's not the district talking now, it's just me. I think it's great. If you reach that point where you're retired, you should have your property tax frozen, but not on the backs of public schools and kids. It should be done a different way. So that's me raising my voice just a little bit, because I don't understand. Yes, I agree that we should be helping older folks who are on a fixed income. That's easy to understand. But why are we doing it on the backs of public schools? That makes no sense to me at all. And I had a long round and round with the presiding commissioner at Cooper County and say, you didn't invite me to your meeting because I've got a lot to say about this. And so we had a long meeting on the phone. But it's not good to do tax cuts on the backs of kids, because it's people, it's programs, it's what you can provide for them. And we'll talk about some of those things in closed session when we're talking about hiring people and bringing them in to meet kids' needs. So I don't want to go on forever and ever because I'll get on a soapbox, but it's pretty distressing to see all the things that have been done by public schools and how successful so many public schools have been. And then we were starting to get this nipping and pulling and tearing down of really, if you look at the state of Missouri, public schools are shoring up entire communities. You pull the public school out of Tipton, what's left? You pull it out of Colt Camp, you pull it out of Lynn. Are we just gonna consolidate and make megalopolis schools? I don't think that's good for kids at all. I think communities are built around schools. They're an economic investment. Okay, sorry, I went too long. All right, so there's the budget message there's budget amendments. Any questions for me, and I'll move on to administrative reports.
Two budget minutes. What, didn't quite understand the additional operating costs for transportation for the girls' basketball.
Yeah, because they're not using the van anymore. We saved money by them using the van.
Okay.
That's why.
And then what is the school's thought process on the ag building? I seen the HVAC was.
That's also a possibility too. That one's probably right. It's right there. I'm calling your attention to it. They're 06 and 14, and we work on those a lot too, don't we, Bob? You want to talk about those a little bit?
We had some issues with one of the units there that it had a board go out of it, and it was on there, so the AC quit running because the board was out, and then come to find out it was a sensor inside the unit itself that had shorted out and shorted the board out.
I'd say before Bob was here, we probably had that thing repaired at least 3 or 4 times. That's why it's on my radar. I'm thinking, how much longer is that thing gonna last? So I'm putting it on your radar too, so we're kind of aware of it. That might be something we have a budget amendment on if we find out it's not working at all. So it kind of worries me a little bit when we're always repairing it. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Rob, what about Chromebook rotation? Where are we at?
We are going to buy another $25,000 worth of Chromebooks this year.
Okay.
Start rotating them in. But I was talking to Ryan maybe last week. You know, it used to be they'd only last about 4 years, and then they just wouldn't work really anymore. They wouldn't update. He said now they've kind of extended that to like 5 years, and he didn't tell me exactly how long, but now it's longer, so we may get a little more life out of them. But we still need to buy some, but I don't think we bought any last year, I remember. We bought quite a few, about 600.
Just like I think replacements last year.
Yeah, we just bought a few replacements, and we replaced some screens. We're fixing what we have, so we don't have to roll over 600 at a time or something like that. And we've had some other grant opportunities that put 50 here and 30 there, that have kind of delayed some of that need to roll over too many.
All right, everybody's got their administrators' reports in front of you. You guys have any questions about any of it? Now's the time.
On the scoreboard, do you know which one you're going with?
It's the same scoreboard.
Oh,
One's just on the I don't know if you guys have the pictures of that.
They do.
The main scoreboard will go on the south side of the gym as you
the
face
other
that
one's for
wall.
the other side.
And the other one's for the other side.
So then we'll look.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. On that, Booster Club gave $9,000. TLB said they would donate $9,000, and that puts us just a little under 4 short. Pepsi gives us $2,000 each year for improvements of things like this. So that puts you at 20, and that's before any of those 4 advertisement spots have been sold. I kind of thought the most fair way to do that would be to be like a first come, first serve on those 4 spots. And do them on like a 2-year, $1,000 rotation, which then, you know, moving forward after, well, actually the first year you would create a little bit of revenue, but then every 2 years from that point forward, you would create revenue for whatever little side projects you had or improvements you needed. You could just have continuous revenue off the scoreboard signs for advertisement.
Does the scoreboard in the elementary gym work?
No, which then also then you could take the one we have now in the high school. One of them, you don't need both in the elementary gym. Move one of them down there because you got 2.
Is this an LED board like the one we've been seeing the last couple nights?
No,
Not blinking?
no. I looked into them, but the cheapest one they've got is $80,000.
Oh.
So
Daktronics, I guess?
yeah, it's the cheapest one they got inside is $80,000 on the wall.
Because Russellville had it too, didn't they?
Yeah, they're nice.
So
I was in Russellville and UT have it.
If it's approved tonight, then they will turn production on it. And then 6 weeks is what they said. So ideally, I think probably Christmas break would be the time.
Probably, yeah.
It's not anything really you guys need to vote on since it's being donated, but if you had questions or concerns about it and say, like it to not have 2 cardinals on it or whatever, or we don't like this or that on it, then you can do that. They want to just put it on the wall one night and you guys show up and say, hey, where'd that come from? Any concerns with that?
You're just gonna throw it out on Facebook and just say
That's
advertisement
all.
spot?
I mean, we haven't really, I haven't talked to Dr.
So you
Ross
still
about
have 4 spots,
it. All 4 spots are available.
so like Side Stricter, Commerce,
And
Colors
I
and
haven't asked anybody.
Martin Energy, yeah, but those people can be,
Correct.
so if you get additional, then that would cover your 30 seconds, your shot clocks.
Yeah. Maybe advertise on them too.
That's coming, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this year, we'll play, I think 7 games this year that have shot clocks in our games.
Because that's only during shootouts?
It's real now.
Shootouts, tournaments,
Tournaments.
yeah.
So, I mean, I like the scoreboard, but I think you really truly just have 3 spots. Because if you have one business that's gonna, if TLB's saying they're gonna give you $9,000, I think that.
Well, theirs is on the bottom.
The first one.
The first
Yeah.
picture, so you got 4 after that.
Yeah, there's four on the additional scoreboard, 2
on the
high,
second
2
picture.
down low.
Oh, and the other one.
Yeah.
Those are just mock-ups.
Yeah, those are just random mock-ups. They just picked 4 businesses they saw in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the smaller one running, do you know?
The smaller board.
So that may be something, if you had additional interest, then you could put that one, the elementary, the newer one.
Is that the $4,000 one?
That must be the $4,000 one, because then the 8,700 one is the big one. No, it's $3,030. It's like the 6th one down.
Anybody else got any comments about the scoreboard? Sounds like a plan. Elementary.
I have a piece in there about gifted education. In the last few years, we've talked about reading success plans with Senate Bill 681. And tucked in that law is a new law that goes into effect this school year for gifted education. We need to identify if we have 3% of our students qualifying, whatever thresholds we design or put in place. So we'll have to do some screening for students, and then testing and look at an implementation plan for that. And this, in the past, we've had an enrichment program, so they've given us flexibility from the state. You don't have to develop a gifted program, it's a may. We've had enrichment in K-5 for several years, but we need to, this will be a K-12 law that will go into effect this school year. So we are gonna move on that, start getting that planned.
Another mandate.
And then, of course, you have your activities director.
I'd like to apologize on his, I did not see Mr. Carvalho's, report, and we have it corrected now, but you guys should have this as Friday, and I just put the wrong name there, so that's my fault. But it's right now. Had to have the right tab name. He was using a template that Jason, I think, gave it to him, so no big deal, it's my fault.
Any questions about that? Where's volleyball districts at? Does anybody know?
All here.
Right here, in the hometown. Nice.
Tuesday, Wednesday, following Monday. Next Tuesday, next Wednesday, the following Monday will be the championship.
And they have a pretty good shot, don't they?
Yeah.
Seeded one.
And then they would go to Farmington, is that right?
No, it's down there though. It's
Right,
it's
right.
over 3 hours.
And Coach Carval's doing a lot of extra work to be the manager for that. You know, it's not just, hey, we just want to hold the tournament. It's a lot of extra work, and I appreciate that he's doing that.
And last but not least is Nancy's piece of special services. If anybody's got any questions for her, or she, or if you want to highlight.
We're spending time trying to take advantage of federal money and reimbursements so that we can help pay for all the extra stuff that we cost. And then also getting our staff trained to work with some of our kids that have some more significant needs. So a lot of professional development going on right now.
Moving on, new business, got bus number 10 here. She had that looked at here.
Yes. Bus number 10, we had looked at by a mechanic that was recommended by, that's used by Durham. It has a very long repair list that totals about $11,000. You can see it there. We brought it in around 2008, isn't that right, Kelly? When the Obama money came in, the first big federal era money. He also had some pictures there, and I wish I would have put those on there, I apologize, but I just think that it's a lot of money to put in a bus that has had questionable maintenance by our prior to contracted services, and the bus director said he thought it might be questionable based on some of the things and buildup that he saw inside the bus. It did not look good. It might limp along, he thought, for another 40 or 50,000 miles based on where it is. I think it's got 170, 180,000 miles, if I'm remembering right. I don't like that scenario, to put our kids out in a questionable vehicle, 30, 40 kids alongside the highway doesn't sound good to me. If we can avoid it. So I'm requesting we have a motion to declare it a surplus property. We may not be able to sell it because it came out of that era money. I'll have to check and do a little research on it, but I just think it's a lot to spend on a vehicle that still comes out questionable, but I'm open to whatever the board wants to do, and I'll follow what you guys asked me to do. After reading that and talking to the lead mechanic, I did not have a good feeling after that of saying, oh, so probably shouldn't sink money down a bucket of bolts from 2008. But if you guys think we want to try to make it limp along a little longer, that's okay. We'll just spend 11 grand and get it up to snuff.
How did it pass bus inspection?
Kelly, I don't know.
That,
I thought.
I just wonder, I'm not quite, questioning this list, but it passes bus inspection every year.
Who was doing the bus inspection?
State,
State.
highway patrol.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering if they,
So what's bus 10 used for? If we've got
It's our activity bus.
it's our activity bus.
So if it goes away, then we're out of bus, which maybe saves us money in the long run if it's just, if we use a staff member to drive it, correct? Versus
Yeah.
using one of Durham's buses.
If we have a staff member to drive the
Bus 10, then we're paying, I don't know what their hourly wage is.
It's $40 an hour to operate the bus, but we probably get a lesser, if it's a hard bus, they take some of that off. I don't know what it would be with them now, I know it was with the other one, it was almost $1 or $2.
But they have adequate buses, I mean,
Yeah.
number-wise, we're not
We're not
hurting
ready for buses without it. I
just don't see how it got this far bad
me neither.
and past a state highway patrol inspection.
I agree.
Is this the bus that FFA takes to like on these long trips?
We used to use it for everything, football and, because it's got storage, but not real good storage.
I mean, we usually take it for everything that we have a staff member driving on. It was also like, compared to first student buses, it was decent quality seating
It's got good
compared to some of the buses that Apple.
I think it seats more because we used it for summer school this year too, because it cut a little bit of cost for us to transport if we said, okay, we take our bus and you all drive for summer school trips.
I mean, do we know how many miles we're actually putting on a year?
Nothing right now.
If it's an 08,
I'll send you
I don't
guys some
know
email.
how far the state lets you go on mileage. You know, Bob?
Just thinking if we're putting 5,000 on it a year, it's gonna last a lot of years for, you know.
Well, I'd say they put more than that. FFA probably puts 2,500 on it when they do their 30-point trip. I don't know that, but I'm
I
assuming.
don't know, I'm just curious.
I can read you what the lead mechanic told me. You guys will hear it. Said, I asked him what he thought the life expectancy of the bus would be. He said, "Good morning, Terry. This is a hard question to answer. There are so many variables to the longevity of a bus. I feel we have a strong maintenance program in Durham, and what I've noticed is after 200,000, a bus seems to nickel and dime us with all kinds of repairs. The big ticket items I would be concerned about is the transmission, rear end, and what the engine cylinder walls look like with the amount of EGR we flow these days. Has it been serviced correctly its whole life? Fluid intervals are very important on things to ensure they don't have premature failures. We can build and redo about anything at our location, but the ISB engine is not rebuildable in the event of an engine failure, and our cost is about $30,000. In the event of an Allison transmission failure, it would be roughly $5,000 to remanufacture the transmission. Hope this helps. If you have any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to answer them for you. For me, it just kind of came down, do we want a bus that has had questionable maintenance and now has a whole list of $11,000, or do we want kids out on a long trip in that bus? And then add some pictures of the interior there. And those of you that know engines better than I do, might want to look at those. I'll send them to you right now.
Would there be a chance maybe we could find a bus down the road that's, if we wanted a district-owned bus?
Yeah.
For that reason, at a reasonable rate? I don't know, but like Dr. Rob said, I think this actually has to go back to the state. With
I think so.
ARA money, I think it has to be,
Find
like,
out.
goes back to government surplus. But I don't think we can surplus it and benefit from it.
I guess we can, if we decide to axe it, we have 11.5 in our pocket that we were gonna spend on one no matter what. You know, towards less mileage.
Or a smaller bus, or
Just, my opinion, you're just throwing good money at a bad idea. That's just my opinion.
if you fix it.
Because if you spend 11,000 to fix it, and then let's hypothetically say that FFA has it on their the top 30 trip coming home out in the middle of Nebraska, and the engine goes, well, now you're in it for another 30.
Well, to get it towed would be 10 grand. So,
Right, I mean, I don't know.
Running the bus out to Nebraska to try to pick them up. So we did have to. pick
might be
something
time we
up
talk
in
about an
Dallas.
activity bus, like we talked about last spring.
That's just
Smaller 30-passenger bus or something.
Take it for what it's worth.
Right.
What's our average? I mean, do we have any kind of an idea of what's our average student on a trip? I mean, how many students on a trip? I mean, is it 10 students,
Varies.
30 students?
For that bus?
Yeah.
No, we don't have that data.
I'm just curious, whether
Most
ballpark
of your
figure.
trips are gonna be anywhere from 10 to 30.
And it was
With the
not really a
exception-
route
With
bus.
the exception of football, they take 2 buses because of equipment and stuff, but they would still take one of the buses being that 30 passenger, if you had 30 passenger. That's gonna take care of 90% of your trips. There might be an occasional class trip that gets over 30, but all your activities besides football, they're gonna stay for 30.
I'd be afraid to even ask what a new bus to replace that costs.
$80,000. Maybe a little more. From last year's price.
For a new one?
Well, you're an eighth there by just the repairs.
Yeah, I'd say we
I'd say-
sideline it till we figure out what we can do with it. And then
Put
if
it
the
on
state,
playground.
yeah, if the state won't let us sell it, well, I mean, we've got some use out of it, so.
And it's not a route bus, it's always just, those are all trip line, well, it's not route, but mainly it's always been used as trips. It's not been a route bus, cause of the boxes, they couldn't drive it on gravel roads, and we did a few times, but not very often. The boxes have been replaced on it a few times.
So what's the board's general consensus? What do you guys want to do?
I'd say sideline it till we get some more information on what we can do with it.
And we have to insure that too, right, Dr. Rowe?
Oh,
We
yeah,
have
it's
insurance
insured
on
right
that. So there'll be some savings there as well. for now.
What else do you need to know, guys? Before we make that decision?
Well, I mean, just whether the state will let us sell it or,
Well, that would be something I'd research. All
Yeah.
you guys need to do is tell me whether it's surplus or not. Is it surplus? Do you want to go with repair, or do you want to surplus it? Declare surplus, in other words, we're not gonna use it anymore, and I'll figure out if we get any money for it at all. I can let you know that.
I agree with Craig, I think it could be pounded sand down a rat hole, just go ahead. Hey, that's an old country saying, hell, it's legal.
I'll make a motion to declare bus number 10 surplus property.
Second. Motion by Ashley, second by Bo, all in favor? 7-0, Amy.
Good job.
So now we're down to the approval of the amended budget for 24-25 school year.
The budget's there. I tried to give you the budget message because all you're getting is a spreadsheet that shows you by code and everything else which you guys don't work with. So hopefully the budget message helped you. Also included probably about 8 different figures in there, so you can kind of see some different pieces of where our money is and what we're doing. We're planning deficit spend at about $200,000 based on this budget, $206,000. You saw the budget amendments and some things have been put in there. I just need a motion to pass to go with this budget for the 24-25 school year, to approve it.
You're confident in your number on the fund balance? Pretty confident?
Yes.
Which is 35 to 37%.
I think that's where we'll end up, just knowing how things fluctuate. Like, right now, the state told us they were gonna pay us $67.25. Well, first payment came in at $6,600. So it was like, always shorting us just a little bit here and there, so just with the.
Where we at on collected taxes?
Oh,
97,
we probably,
98%?
oh, yeah, we've been really good. We were 100%, I think, last year. Kelly, I could run that, show that to you. We're always like super high 90s. I actually put in this budget 92%, not knowing where the election's gonna go, the economy's going.
Well, if Cooper County adjusts their taxes,
There you
Morgan
go.
County's gonna adjust theirs.
There you
so.
go. So, I mean, I tend to be conservative on what I think's coming in.
So our pay gets cut off the school board.
Any questions? Concerns?
I'll move to approve the amended budget for the 24-25 school year.
So we got a motion by Bo,
I'll second it.
second by David. All in favor? 7-0, Amy. Bo, you're up.
Not to go too far, but we're gonna make some decisions in closed session. Is that put into this? So
Your
there-
First Amendments.
We'll have an amendment.
There you go.
All right, I'll move us into executive session pursuant to 610.021, discuss 3 and 13, to include the Board of Education, Dr. Rob, Ms. Pettigrew, Mr. Culpepper, Ms. Thomas, and this is it. So,
You got good food back over there?
So we got a motion by Bo, seconded by David. Bo. Yes. David.
Yes.
Ashley.
Should Bridget be in closed session?
Do you wanna be Bridget?
Yes.
Are we in closed session?
Yes.
yeah, Bridget should be.
Okay.
I was gonna run away, my name was.
Redo it.
All right, I make a motion to approve, or move us into executive session pursuant to 610.021, discuss 3 and 13, to include Ms. Pettigrew, Mr. Culpepper, Ms. Thomas, Dr. Rob, Board of Education, and Bridget.
So your new motion by Bo,
again.
Second.
seconded by David.
Everybody's taking
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Ashley.
Yes.
Kelly.
Yep.
Amanda.
Yes.
Derek.
Yep.
Myself, yes. 7-0, Amy.
Can we turn
Thanks
off these?
everybody for coming, but they already left.